Hey, how y'all doing? Thank you for joining me again. So where was in the story? We were right around December of 2021, just January 2022. Yeah, because December 26th is where when he closed on the house. We moved in the first Monday of 2022, and that's when we started taking sledgehammers. Excuse me. But yeah, it was just tearing down everything we could, tearing everything out, all the walls, tearing up the floor where we could. It was a tremendous amount of work. Like I said, I thought I was doing economy because I probably worked easily a solid 2 weeks just spread out over time for his rental property. So I worked in multiple properties of his, doing all kinds of stuff, and it was, like I said, it was work, especially when you consider I signed up to be a painter, and I did it. But this was tremendous. We were complete and total renovation of a whole home, multi-level home. The fireplace was an issue. Again, it was like 9 feet by 9 feet. So you're talking about 27 square feet of retail space, just smack dab in the middle of the place. I remember when the owner took a sledgehammer to it, just dink, didn't do anything, didn't budge. And after that, he's like, "Well, we're keeping it." But it wasn't staying. It wasn't a problem we could deal with then. As for the house, like I said, tearing everything out. Everywhere you see wood in that place used to be a wall. It was a home. It was bisectioned. So we took all that out, ripped out the walls, left just the bones. The gaming lodge that used to have like 7 foot ceilings all the way across. We had to tear those down to open it up, and they re-drywalled all the walls to give it the high, nice ceilings. And then the echoes became a problem, so I had to deal with that later. But we'll talk about that. As for the in that room and the card room were both patios. They were external patios linked by outdoor walkway. So you had to go out to behind the kitchen to get to the patio because neither one of the sliding doors existed. Those were just straight walls. So again, it was just a lot of work that just went into just starting to renovate the place. The back rooms were great too because in the initial that was the paint studio. So we took all the stuff from his basement, started moving it into the new paint studios. We took my truck to get new desks and supplies. It was a daily occurrence for me to go to the Lowe's, like 1 to 3 trips a day, and just getting what we needed. Got air tanks. Started just kitting out the place, which was awesome because I got to kit out my desk. I started putting up these 40K posters of orcs. I got another little wire shelf system so I can put my own personal projects up there when I worked on them. I made my lamp adjustable so I can have different heights on it. Like I said, when I make a home for myself, whether it's a nook or just a home in general, home space, I personalize it a great deal because I don't like normal things. I like them to sit the way I function because I'm very much about ebb and flow of an environment. And that's what I was even doing at my desk. I would put things in a place where they were, very useful for me. As for the place, like I said, just tearing stuff out. We would have piles of just junk in the front and the back. The back was a lot more convenient. We had a burn pile in the front and just a trash pile in the back, but the trash pile was on this concrete landing pad that used to have a giant shed, looked like an RV shed, because the back area was all fenced in. We ripped out the front wall of the fence, but it used to be around the whole thing. And like I said, everything we were tearing out, we would just dump out the windows or carry out the front door in the front burn pile or in the trash pile in the back. And we had dumpster companies come out, like one shots, bring out a dumpster, fill it up, they take it away. We tried those green bags from Lowe's where it's just like a dumpster in a bag, I think it was called. And it was messy. And we did a lot of me just throwing stuff in the back of my truck and just humping it out to the dump site down in South Huntsville. So it was a lot of just moving and shaking to get everything just worked out and done. The pile in the back just kind of grew. It's like, there was nothing for it. We just, like I said, we tore everything out of this house. So by the end of it, we're dealing with a pile of trash that's like maybe, 6 feet wide by about 6 feet tall, and it's stretched. The whole length almost the entire length of what is now the parking lot. So you're talking about 30 feet maybe. But it was a big ass pile. We were trying to figure out what to do with it, and that was one of the crazy ideas. Because again, we had the burn pile in the front, and he was just like, "Well, we just light the thing on the back on fire." Because it was wood, cardboard, all kinds of stuff. Like I said, it was huge, and I'm like, "All right, whatever, let's do it. Let's give it a shot." So we struck that thing on fire, and I'm telling you right now, it was terrifying for me. I mean, at first it wasn't bad, but then because we're in a neighborhood, we're just a little county neighborhood, and there was these pine trees all around us, and though they were high up, this fire got high. Like there was a point where I had to bring like a 12-foot ladder with a hose between me and the tree and just spraying the fire to try to die it down. The trees, pines were all turning brown. I mean, it was just, that was, like I said, it was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that. Like, seriously, in 14,605,000 of the universes, we burnt that whole neighborhood down. I mean, it was just a miracle that we hadn't. And it was fighting that fire before it got completely out of control, because, like, it was huge. And just in this back lot. And it's like after that was the one and only time we did it that big. After that, it was just small piles. But even with the small piles, I always had a garden hose after that. When I started, that way I could just to try to wrangle the fires in. Because, I mean, there's a lot of dry times, too, where we probably shouldn't have been burned, but we needed to get rid of the stuff. But it was like in an unincorporated part of the county, so nobody cared, or mostly didn't care, and we didn't get caught. But I remember that one fire that just made me crazy uncomfortable because, I mean, we could have burnt down a neighborhood. We could have killed people, like legit. But that was a heavy lesson for me. I'm glad I didn't have to learn the hard way. But like I said, I took fire a lot more seriously when we were playing out there with it. But it was, like I said, it was just that. It was learning experience after learning experience because I hadn't done any of this stuff before, We were just pushing to get the job done because he needed to, because we're on a financial timeline. We didn't have forever to do it. When money runs out, the money runs out. So in order to build this whole endeavor, we had to build a store to generate money again for him. So that's kind of where we were, and just gutting this place in the process, making our home for the paint studio, clearing out what we didn't need clear out. That way we could have it gutted so we can refit the whole place, because that was the next step. I mean, gutting it was one thing. And like I said, gutting was just started. The fireplace, Jesus, the fireplace, man. I remember one time the scariest day of my life was when I came in and I saw a couple bricks missing from that fireplace. And I'm like, shit, this son of a bitch done took them bricks off. Because I knew once one brick, because he's very superficial. Everything has got to be about looks. Once he took those bricks off, that thing was gone. There's no way, no ifs, ands, or buts, because you couldn't hide it. You couldn't repair it. And he knew that too. That's why he did it. He had to break it, so he knew he'd have to force himself to get it out. And I mean, that's his choice. I mean, I ain't going to say yes or no. I mean, it was a good choice. The thing was a pain in the ass. It didn't belong there. It killed the retail space. He was right on all those points. I just didn't want to be the fucker to do it, or a part of the team that did it. I wasn't the only one. But yeah, he got his jackhammer from Lowe's, rented it, got on top of the house, and just started chipping away. But once he broke it down to the room, from the roof to the room, it wasn't really that hard. It was just labor intensive, It was just chipping away, and then taking the hammer, just crack, crowbar. Because that's what it was. It was just sledgehammer, bashing in the walls, pulling it out with a crowbar. And we named her Kimberly because the fire bricks inside the fireplace itself had the stamp of Kimberly on it. I guess it was the company they came from or whatever. But that's what we named her, because it was hell when we just had a wheelbarrow on there. Just fill up this wheelbarrow, take it to the window, and just chuck out, bundle, because it weren't all just regular bricks. They were just chunks of brick too, because we're taking out however we could. But yeah, man, it was a freaking nightmare, man. Like days of this, could have been a couple of weeks. I don't even remember how long it took us to do it, but it was definitely multiple days, probably like a couple of weeks. But like I said, it was what we were doing. It was labor intensive, but for me, it was a labor of love. I thought I was building a home. I believed I was, for my part anyway. Anyways, I'm going to cut off there, and I'll hit you back in the next video. I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for your time as always. I know it's valuable. Take care. Thank you.